Chapter 1. The Breakup Bonus. I knew Megan was going to break up with me before she said it. Not because I was emotionally sharp. I wasn't. If I had been, I probably would have noticed 3 months earlier when her smile started arriving late, like delayed packages. I would have noticed when she stopped asking me about work because my answer was always the same. Fine. Work was fine. Dinner was fine. Life was fine. Fine, to me, meant nothing had exploded. Apparently, to Megan Parker, fine meant she had spent 2 years dating a man who treated existence like a waiting room. Her message came at 4:17 p.m. Can we talk after work? Coffee bean on Madison? No emoji. No babe. No soft landing. Just 12 words and a question mark sharp enough to cut through my afternoon. I stared at it for a full minute before turning my phone face down. Across from me, Marcus Bell leaned back in his chair and tossed a rubber band at the ceiling. You good, Claude? Fine. Marcus sighed. You used that word like evidence in a trial. I ignored him and pretended the vendor report on my screen mattered. At 5:34, I left the office. Graham and Wells Logistics was a place built for people who had given up on color. Gray cubicles, beige carpet, white walls, motivational posters that looked like threats. I was 29 years old and an operations analyst, which meant I corrected other people's mistakes quietly enough that nobody promoted me for it. It wasn't a bad life. That was the problem. Nothing in my life was bad enough to force me to change. Megan was already at the coffee shop when I arrived. She sat near the window, both hands around a paper cup. Her brown hair was tied back. Her coat was folded beside her. She looked composed. That annoyed me for half a second. Then I realized she had probably cried before I arrived. That made me feel worse. Hey, I said. Hey, Claude. I sat down. Neither of us ordered anything else. The silence between us had structure. Beams. Walls. A roof. She had been building it for months, and I had only just walked inside. Megan took a breath. I can't keep doing this. There it was. I rubbed my palms against my pants. Doing what? Her expression tightened. I hated myself for asking. We both knew what. This, she said. Us. Waiting. Repeating the same conversations. Hoping you'll wake up one day and suddenly want your own life. I go to work. I know. I pay my bills. I know. I'm not cheating. I'm not gambling. I'm not doing drugs. I'm not. I know, Claude. Her voice softened, which was worse than anger. That's why this is hard. You're not terrible. You're just absent. Absent. I looked away. Outside, a man in a navy suit hurried past with his phone pressed to his ear. A woman pulled a small dog away from a puddle. Everyone seemed to be going somewhere, even the dog. I thought we were okay, I said. I know you did. There it was again. I know. The official phrase of someone tired of forgiving you. Megan reached into her purse and placed a key on the table. My apartment key. It made a tiny, final sound. I don't hate you, she said. I think that would be easier. I wanted to say something good. Something mature. Something that would make her pause and realize there was still a man worth saving under all my laziness. Instead, I said, is there someone else? Her face changed. Not guilt. Disappointment. No, Claude, she said. There doesn't always have to be someone else. Then she left. I sat there for 10 minutes, staring at the key. I should have felt devastated. I did, sort of. But mostly I felt embarrassed. Embarrassment was cheaper than heartbreak. Easier to hold. Less demanding. Eventually, I stood up and walked outside. The evening air was cold. I shoved my hands in my pockets and started toward the bus stop, carrying the fresh knowledge that my girlfriend had left me because I had the emotional presence of office furniture. That was when an elderly woman dropped her grocery bag. It split open on the sidewalk. Apples rolled everywhere. A carton of eggs hit the ground with a wet crunch. A loaf of bread slid toward the curb. Oh no, she said. People moved around her. Not cruelly, just efficiently. I almost did the same. Then an apple bumped my shoe. I looked down at it. For one bitter second, I thought, great. Even fruit needs me now. The woman bent slowly, one hand braced on her knee. I sighed. Not like a hero, like a man being charged a fee by the universe. Here, I said. Let me. I picked up the apples, the bread, and the cans that had rolled under the bench. Her bag was useless, so I took my cheap canvas tote off my shoulder, dumped my lunch container and some papers into my arms, and handed it to her. You can use this. Oh, she said. Are you sure? Yeah, it's fine. She smiled at me like I had done something meaningful instead of surrendering a $7 company tote with a faded logo. That's very kind of you, she said. Thank you, young man. Young man. I was 29, newly single, and spiritually unemployed, but sure. A clear chime sounded. Not from my phone. From inside my head. A blue window appeared in front of my eyes. Positive feeling detected. I froze. The elderly woman adjusted the tote in her arms. Are you all right? I stared through the glowing text. Goodwill acquired. 300 points. Goodwill farming system initialized. User, Claude Simmons. My mouth opened. Nothing came out. The woman looked concerned. I'm fine, I said automatically. She smiled again. Another chime. Positive feeling detected. Goodwill acquired. 100 points. Current Goodwill points. 400. 400. I knew numbers. Numbers were my job. So when I saw 400, my brain did what it always did. It started calculating. The window shifted. Shop access granted. Tier 0 unlocked. A list appeared. Bottled water, 1 GP. Canned coffee, 2 GP. Chocolate bar, 2 GP. Umbrella, 5 GP. Notebook, 3 GP. Pain reliever, 4 GP. Phone charger, 5 GP. Instant noodles, 2 GP. Packaged sandwich, 3 GP. I stared, then stared harder. A canned coffee cost 2 GP. That old woman's first thank you had been worth 150 canned coffees. My hands went cold. Not with fear. With opportunity. Canned coffee, I whispered. Purchase canned coffee for 2 GP. Yes. Purchase complete. A chilled can dropped into my hand. I yelped and nearly threw it into traffic. It was ordinary. No glow. No divine aura. No sacred brand. Just canned coffee with a boring label and ingredients that looked legal. I opened it. It tasted mediocre. That convinced me more than anything else. A hallucination would have tasted amazing. This tasted like it came from a vending machine in a tire shop. Real. It was real. Current Goodwill points. 398. I looked at the shop again. Umbrella. 5 points. I could buy 79 umbrellas. 79. From helping one old woman. My heartbeat changed. It did not become brave. It did not become noble. It became entrepreneurial in the ugliest possible way. I thought about holding doors. Compliments. Office favors. Rainstorms. Broken printers. Birthdays. Sad coworkers. Heavy bags. People crying in public. People needing anything at all. My breakup sat somewhere behind me, still fresh, still painful, waving its arms for attention. Unfortunately for Megan, my greed had just discovered math. I took another sip of bad coffee and smiled at the floating blue window. For the first time in years, I felt motivated. Not healed. Not inspired. Motivated. How many points? I whispered. Can I farm in one day?